guys, so I'm here today to film my updated base routine for you. Things have changed for us all. We've been in pandemic for like a year now. My province actually just went into the third lockdown because Canada's vaccine rollout has been trash. Really just Ontario's. I hate you, Doug Ford. But because of pandemic times, you know, no one wears jeans anymore. I actually just filmed and uploaded my trying on pre-quarantine jeans video, which was traumatic. And my entire skin and makeup routine has obviously changed. Pre-pandemic, I was a full coverage ass bitch. I love glowy, dewy skin. I've never liked matte because I do have dry skin, but I've always loved a lot of coverage. Not even always, but especially over the last couple of years, I've been a full coverage ass bitch. Two of my favorite foundations are the Nars. Look at, I haven't used this for so long that there is like a layer of water just like chilling on the top. This is the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation, super full coverage, and then also the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Hydrating Longwear Foundation is also super full coverage. I used to love both of these, have not really reached for either in a very, very long time. I've actually not been wearing foundation. I don't even know myself anymore. So I decided today that I would film my no foundation routine, kind of show you how I do my full face with no foundation, and at the end you're gonna be like, it looks like you're wearing foundation, and that's my trick. So if you guys want to see that, keep watching. Also subscribe to my channel, up every Tuesday and Thursday. This week's videos are going to be a little bit all over the place because I had to push a video so that I could upload the James Charles video, which will also be up before this. I'm actually filming it after this, but it'll be up today. Yeah, I had to jump some videos around, but normally I upload every Tuesday and Thursday. Stick around. I'm awesome. I do commentary, I do beauty, I do whatever the fuck I want to do. So hit the button. So far all I've done is eyeshadow. I used the Colourpop Stone Cold Fox palette. This is just their cool toned palette. I love a cool toned look. I will say, if you have lots of cool tone shadows, you really don't need this. I honestly think you could just get their Going Coconuts palette or one of their other cool tone palettes, because like a lot of these shades end up looking the same on your eyes when you use them. And also I wish that these shimmers were, like, I wish there were more like shimmery, like actual taupes in here. Regardless, I just wanted to do a simple eye, so I just did that. I actually didn't even end up liking my eye today, but that is just life. I already glued my eyebrows in place using the Schwarzkopf Got to Be Glued spiking glue. If you want to see how I use this, I will link down below. I did a video comparing this to the NYX brow glue, showing you how I do it, and also using their eyebrow pen. So yeah, that is where we are. Now for primer, I am of the belief that most primers don't really do anything. So sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. Like the only primer I really have up here is my Milk Hydro Grip, and I only really like this when I'm doing full coverage foundation. I don't know what it is about this, but I find that some foundations just don't work well with this, in that it can get like pilly, and because it's like a sticky foundation, if you aren't like using a beauty blender, I find that when I use a brush, I don't know, it gets weird. So I don't really reach for that unless I'm doing like a beat that I need to last for a long time, which like doesn't happen anymore because like pandemic. So I actually used the Maybelline New York Master Prime by Face Studio Primer Base Hydrate and Smooth. This is just a basic hydrating primer, which is kind of what I go for a lot of the times. Like I don't do pore filling because most of those are mattifying and I have dry skin, and I don't do dewy because my other favorite primer is the Becca Backlight, which I guess is getting discontinued because Becca's dead. Do I buy a backup? Do I wait for it to go on sale? I don't know. But regardless, that's my other favorite primer, but I'm using a glowy base today, so I don't really need that. So I just decided to slap this on. Why did I just talk about primer for like 5 minutes? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a big primer person. Like like when I don't use it, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't use primer. But like, I also don't really feel like they do much. I also clip my hair up with these little hair clips. These are from Amazon, and they're just like the no dent hair clips because I have curly hair and a lot of it. I don't like to tuck my hair behind my ear because it dents my hair, so I use these. Now, if you have thick hair, I recommend, I used to try to like put them behind my ear, but there's just so much hair there, it doesn't work. So I just kind of put them right here at like my temple, and it keeps them just like, keeps my hair just like out of my face enough that I can work on this. Okay, so for my base, like I said, I don't use foundation anymore, but what I have been using, because while I don't want the coverage of a foundation, I still want the glow that a lot of foundation gives me, and like, I'm like, my skin looks natural right now, but like I want to take it up a notch. So I've been actually using the Auric Glow Lust. This is in the shade Morganite, which is their lightest shade. And I apply this all over my face, kind of as its own, as like my own, as like a primer. You could also use the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filt'r, but I've just been reaching for the Auric. But I would say that you really don't need both. I'm crazy. So I'm just gonna pump one pump of that out in my hand and just kind of spread it on my face. And then I do find that this is kind of a thicker formula in that it's hard to spread with your fingers. And I also find the same with the Charlotte Tilbury. So I just use like a flat top brush of some sort and just kind of blend that out, just to make sure I get it. It just like works so much better with a brush. So I normally like don't apply anything with a brush, but especially base products, but for some reason this just works better with a brush, and I have 7,000 of them, so I might as well use them. I just need to be careful around my brows because I'm not used to doing them first. This is like a new thing I've been doing, so it's tricky. So hopefully, let me try to turn my lights down so I can show you guys just kind of like how, hopefully you can see the glow. It just adds the most beautiful glow to your face. When it comes to glowy base products, sometimes I think this isn't glowy enough, because if I was to put it under a foundation, I don't know how it would shine through like a lot of my other glowy base products like strobe cream, which is kind of intense. But because this is so natural, it's almost perfect for this kind of setup where I'm not going to put foundation over top of it, but I am going to put other makeup over top of it. I really hope that made sense, and I hope you can see just how like glowy we are. For concealer, because I'm doing kind of a no makeup vibes look, I like to go with something that's a little bit radiant, and because I have dry skin, we need hydration. I do love the Pat McGrath concealers, but what I've been reaching for is the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating Concealer. As you can see, I've used a shit ton of this. Also, I leave it laying down, so it's a little bit all over the place. I am in the shade Light Ivory, which is a little bit too warm for me, but once you blend it out, you can't really tell. I do have the shade Fair Rose, which is too light for me, but more pink toned. This is the only downfall of buying drugstore concealers, is you cannot try them on. So obviously, if I'm not using foundation, my concealer is what I'm using for coverage, which I honestly feel like so much of us put so much concealer on that our foundation becomes redundant. So I've been doing this, and like it kind of doesn't even look like I'm not wearing foundation, if you know what I mean. I have a pimple right there, rude. And now for me, the only parts of my face that I really feel like I need like coverage is right here on my jawline. I have redness, and same with over here. So what I do is I just kind of, I'm running low on this concealer. I take the concealer and I just kind of do 3 little lines on both sides just to get a little bit of coverage there. And again, like I'm putting concealer. Like I feel like everyone does almost this much concealer, but maybe not this much. And then again, your foundation becomes pointless. So I am going to just kind of start here. And as you can see, it adds like just enough coverage. Obviously, I don't think it's full coverage, but I also don't think you need full coverage, or at least I don't anymore, which is wild. Who am I? I mean, obviously this concealer is not perfect. You can still see a lot of redness and discoloration, but I feel like once your whole face is on, you don't really notice. Sorry, my mirror is over here, and I shattered my mirror in my Tati palette, so, which is what I would normally use. Like, look at how beautiful this concealer is. Honestly, so fucking good. We live. And then I kind of take it down around my nose because that's where I get discoloration, and then just kind of blend the edges out. So like you can see there's still like redness and stuff on my cheeks, but I'm just working with it now. This is basically all the coverage I do. Again, I feel like you can't see, so I'm gonna try to turn this. Maybe I'll just film with my lights down a little bit. So you can see, you know, you can still see the redness here and like on my chin and stuff. But like, honestly, I'm not mad about it. My nose is itchy. So I don't really set my face with powder anymore either. Who am I? But I do set my under eyes. This is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter powder. I use the shade Lavender, which if you are fair skinned, this will brighten the absolute fuck out of your under eyes. I like to actually apply it with a dry velvet sponge. This is the Juno & Co sponge. That Taylor Wynn here on YouTube taught me this, and I was scared to set my under eyes with a dry sponge, but it totally works. So I'm just gonna kind of press out any creases and then just, now I just put it on the very tip of the sponge, and I'm literally just setting directly under my eye. Like, I do not want powder to go everywhere. I really just want it like right kind of in my hollow and right under the eye. I don't want to do the whole triangle situation. Also, you'll see there's a little bit of powder kind of left over. I will wipe that away after the fact. Give me a minute. So I kind of start right closest to the eyeball and then just bring it down a little bit just in the corner. Because really for me, I'm not trying to set it for any reason other than so that it doesn't crease. Because I have creases under my eyes and it will look creepy and disgusting under there no matter what concealer I use. So then I'm just going to grab my little KVD brush and just kind of brush away any extra powder so it doesn't look too cray. That is like the base. And then I've been using, honestly, who am I? I've been using cream products for like my whole face. I don't even know myself anymore. For bronzer / contour, it kind of depends on my vibes, but these are the two I go between. You've either got your Milk Makeup bronzer stick, which I absolutely love. It's like pretty warm tone, especially for my skin tone, which is like super cool toned. I will say this is the only shade they have, which is such a bummer because like, hi, this is not dark enough for most people. And the other one I use is the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. So this one is a little bit more cool toned. I wouldn't even really call it, like, it's not super cool toned, but it's definitely like, it's definitely pretty cool toned. So it kind of just depends what the vibes I'm going for that day are. Today I'm going to use the Milk Makeup one. I want to go with a little bit more of like a warmer vibe. Even though I have cool toned eyes on, I'm feeling summery. So I am going to tuck my hair behind my ears for this part, just so I can kind of get, and like, if you're my shade, this may look terrifying to you because it looks dark and it looks like it's never going to blend out, but it will. I use this Sephora Pro Flawless Airbrush Foundation brush. This is the number 56 to blend this out. And I like to start on this one, and I just kind of first start like just blending out, and I kind of start like just brush it upwards because for me, I have a really small face. Like, as you can see, these lines look very close to each other because my face is tiny. And so I need to blend upwards or it can get really muddy down here. Now, right now, I kind of like the placement of it. So once I like the placement, I will start blending it out with my beauty blender because it will kind of pick up some of the coverage and blend it out so beautifully. And then for the same thing for the bottom, except down here, I gotta go back and forth and then blend down. I'm trying to like conceal this part of my chin. And then again, once most of it is blended out, I go in with my beauty blender and just kind of blend out the edges. And that's why I like this brush, because it's very, as you can see, it's pretty tiny. Like it's smaller than my blush brush. Like this is like an angled blush brush from Sigma, and this brush. It's tiny, which I personally need for my like bronzer contour area. And then I just kind of blend, obviously, this part back into my hairline. I like to do circular motions once I get to my hairline just to really get it in there. And I like to connect it to here and kind of into the middle of my forehead. And then again, we blend out with the Beauty Blender once it's like really, once it's pretty blended. And again, I have a small face, which means I have a small forehead, so I don't like to bring this down too far. And then you can see now I've kind of, you know, we're looking a little glowier, but we're not looking orange, which is obviously the #1 fear if you are pasty like me. Sometimes I will go in with a powder bronzer. What I've been liking lately is the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze, Coconut Perfect Tan, and Tantastic. And when I do this, I will just take a kind of fluffier brush like the Real Techniques multitask brush, and what I'll do is I'll tap it in, and then I'll just kind of tap it over the area, but because obviously there's cream products underneath it, so you don't want to start like blending, because you can blend away what's underneath it. So I kind of like tap it to blend it. However, I'm not going to put on a powder today, so we're just going to skip that step. For blush, I've been using cream blush. Again, who am I? I couldn't tell you. This is the Quo Beauty Cream Blush, and this is in the shade, I'll never know. Oh, Pure 59. Now, if you have been a follower for a while, you know I don't wear colored blush. And what I mean by that is I am a neutral ass blush bitch. My favorite blushes are Nars Madly and Benefit Dallas and Urban Decay Video. So like warm toned brown blushes are the only blushes I wear. So when it comes to cream blushes, I get a little nervous because like obviously I want to stay in that family, and it's very hard to find those, but this one has a little bit of pink to it, but it honestly kind of works. So what I do is just squeeze a little bit out onto my hand. I do not like to apply this directly to my face. What I like to do instead is take it and I will blend it out to kind of the consistency I want, and then I will just tap my brush into it. This is the Real Techniques stippling brush. I'll just tap it in, and I like to start at the back because that's where I want my blush to be the brightest, and then just kind of stipple it forward. And then again, if you go too much because it's cream blush, it's really easy to blend it out with your Beauty Blender. Although I usually like to do my blush a little bit more intense because I do find that it fades pretty intensely on me. And especially on camera, I feel like I look crazy right now. On camera, it can show up a little washed out. So again, you have your blush on and you're like, okay, is that a little wild? I don't know. So you just kind of tap out the edges. And you could always, now because you really haven't set your face, you could always go in with more concealer if you wanted to. But like, look how dewy, look how dewy that looks. She's glowy, she's dewy, she's magical. If you guys know of any other good cream blushes at the drugstore, because I'm cheap, let me know. I kind of like cream blushes like this more than, I guess it would be a liquid blush more than cream blushes, because I like being able to mix it on my hand and then put it on my face, as opposed to kind of dipping into a cream and getting a little bit too much on there. But yeah, if you know of anything like in this kind of color family, even if it is cream, let me know. I'm on the hunt. Now, for highlight, what I'm gonna do is take a little bit of my Auric Glow, and I'm gonna just kind of tap it right on the highest point of my cheek. And then I will just kind of go over and blend it out with my Beauty Blender. And then I'm gonna take some of it down my nose, on my lip, just kind of like all of the high points of your face. I mean, it's basically all over my face already, but you can't have enough glow. And then sometimes I'm like, is that glowy enough? No, let me take more. You know? Because I do find that this builds up pretty nicely. And you can get a really beautiful natural glow with this because it really doesn't have any like glitters or even shimmer particles in it. So you really can kind of build it up and get like it's blinding, but not like there's no texture accentuation, and it's freaking gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to put on mascara and finish my brows off camera. For my brows, I will be using the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Pen. Again, if you want to see how I use that, I will link the video, my brow video, down below where you can see that, and then we'll be back to finish this off. Okay, so we did mascara, brows. I put on liner because, like, for me, liner is life. And then I also put on a lipstick. I just put on the Colourpop Lippie liner in 951, and then I put on the Maybelline lipstick in Truffle Tease over top. And like, honestly, tell me it looks like I'm not wearing foundation. You literally can't. Last step though, I am going to set it all with the Cover FX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. The mist on this is to die for. It's super fine and magical. It does remind me of the Rihanna What It Do. Honestly, I'm just gonna put it out there. Try it. Now, I will say I have dry skin and I don't have really any blemishes or problematic skin other than it being dry as fuck. But I will say a lot of us, I think, use, like I said, a shit ton of concealer anyways. And so it kind of makes our foundation redundant. And ever since I started using this, I really don't think I need foundation. Like, who am I? Who am I? I don't know, but I have been loving the no foundation look. I gotta give a props to Jay Kissa because she's been doing this forever. And although I have heard that her husband was Jeffree Star's videographer. He left, but like, sus. But yeah, I've been loving this look. Let me give you a view in natural lighting. Okay, so I am sitting in front of the window in my office now. Like this, it just looks like I'm wearing foundation. And I feel like once you put lipstick and liner on also, it just like makes it look like you're wearing a full ass beat when you're not. Also, please look at how adorable my cat is. I can't diss that up, baby. Look at her one eyeball looking at us. He's so cute. But yeah, that is my current kind of go-to foundation routine. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you've been wearing foundation or if you've been experimenting without it. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.